Hey, you kids, get off my lawn. This is the Cranky Old Man, and welcome again to Cranky's Corner. It's been a little while since I sat down with y'all. Life kind of got in the way a little bit. Real world problems, work, doctor's appointments. You know what it's like. Old age sucks. Anyway, I'm back. I'm here. Let's get down to today's topic. Today's topic is pretty much a rehash of what we talked about last week. Last week, I went ahead and I put this up. It was the Dio remix, the remix album. And we had a little bit of a conversation about it, back and forth. I felt like the CD was worth it, but I felt like the album itself was a bit of a cash grab. And I got a few comments on it, some feedback. Okay, most of the feedback was from the sensible wife, wanting to know why the hell I didn't get my chores done that week. But I digress. I did get one comment from a guy named Thomas. And Thomas is a level-headed, sensible man. And he got me to thinking. When is a box set an actual value? And when does it feel like a cash grab? So I started digging around. I really don't have that many box sets. But I got a few, and I thought I'd bring them out. And I thought I'd look at them and say, is this value? Or is this a cash grab? Now, I'm finding value in an album. Let's say I can see a box set being released. We'll see Black Sabbath Paranoid. Okay, that was a landmark album for them. That was like their breakthrough. That's their most popular album. So I can see, a box set on that. I can see that. Did I get one? No. But I can see it. That doesn't feel like a cash grab. That feels like a celebration. Okay? Well, but, like when they did Technical Ecstasy, again, Black Sabbath. Wasn't even one of their more popular albums. It's a great album. I think it is anyway. But I like all the Black Sabbath albums. Black Sabbath is my favorite all-time band. And while I think that it was a good album, do I think that it deserved a box set? No. So, in that case, even with all the stuff they threw in, it just felt like an excuse to take your $70. There, I said it. Somebody's going to yell. Anyway, I thought I would pull out a few examples of what I thought were legitimate tributes and value versus just they threw it out there to take your money. Feel free to agree or disagree and add your own opinions, because that's what this is about. Which reminds me, I guess it's time to say it. Like, click, subscribe, hit the notification. That way, I know that you're out there. I know that you still love me. And you can know whenever I put something back out. Okay, so let's get started. This was, again, we'll start with this one. Again, I thought the CD was brilliant, the remix. And even with all the extra artwork and stuff, I gotta say it's a cash grab. Now, this was a landmark album for him. This deserved, it deserved a remake. Okay, it deserved some treatment. It deserved a set. But when it came to this, one blank album side, they stretched it out over two albums when they didn't need to. Yeah, that's the stuff that made it feel like a cash grab. So for me, I gotta say that the vinyl was a cash grab. CD wasn't, vinyl was. I'm gonna throw this over here so that it doesn't get in the way. All right, another one that I grabbed. This is one. I picked it up a while back. It was AC/DC's Bonfire set. Now, some people would argue that this wasn't a cash grab because it's a tribute to Bon Scott, the late singer for AC/DC. Because he passed away after making Highway to Hell in '79. They got Brian Johnson. They made Back in Black. They went on to stellar heights from there. All right? But Bon Scott still has a huge place in their history. And I get that it was, a tribute. But what makes it feel like a cash grab isn't the fact. I mean, they've got a nice little book. They've got a poster. You got a live from Atlantic Studios with Livewire, Problem Child, High Voltage, Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be, Dog Eat Dog, The Jack, Whole Lot of Rosie, and The Rocker. You've got this one, Volts, which is just a bunch of outtakes. Most of it's most of it is outtakes. The same songs with different lyrics. Like they were still figuring it out. You got a copy of Back in Black, which was supposed to be a tribute to Bon Scott. That album was dedicated to Bon Scott's memory. And that's the first album with Brian Johnson singing. It's the greatest one. And then you have the Let There Be Rock soundtrack. This is the 1979 Highway to Hell tour. This was in Paris, France. And it was from the movie Let There Be Rock. Now, that sounds like on the surface, with a Bon Scott history and a nice bonfire poster. That sounds like a really, really good box set. You'd think that that's value, and I guess there is value here. Because there are a lot of different recordings, but my problem with it that makes it feel a little like a cash grab and less of a tribute was, why didn't they include this? That's right, AC/DC's If You Want Blood, You Got It. Now you can't have a tribute to Bon Scott without having what's arguably one of his greatest works. This live performance is probably one of the best things he's ever done. Listen, it starts out with Riff Raff, Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be, a smoking version of Bad Boy Boogie. It's probably Riff Raff and Bad Boy Boogie are my favorites on there. The Jack, Problem Child, Whole Lot of Rosie, Rock and Roll Damnation and High Voltage, and they're kind of a different version. They're kind of a rocked up version, which is really, really cool. Let There Be Rock and Rocker. And I'm telling you, if you don't have this, not having this is what makes this feel like a cash grab. Because the performances on here, in my opinion, while they're great, they're not this. And this was stellar. This was taking it to another level. So that's what kind of make that one feel, again, good, but just kind of cash grabby. Now, this I didn't feel was a cash grab. This, in its purest form, was not a cash grab. This is a perfect example of what a cash grab is not. Motorhead's No Sleep Till Hammersmith. No Sleep was Motorhead's quintessential live album. This is one of their. This was done right after Ace of Spades. This was done between Ace of Spades and Iron Fist. This was a culmination of shows that led up to Hammersmith Odeon. And again, it was on the Ace of Spades tour. The band was on all cylinders. It's the original three: Lemmy Kilmister, Fast Eddie Clarke, and Filthy Animal Taylor. The original three Motorhead. And you can see they have a book. I'll get it one of these days. Anyway, there's a book in there, and they have the original Hammersmith album in here, No Sleep Till Hammersmith, along with the soundboard tapes of the Newcastle show. Now, the Newcastle show was a complete show taken right off the soundboard, something you would use for like BBC radio or something. So it's not mixed. It's in there. They didn't edit it, warts and all. There's even a song that they just flat out screwed it up, stopped, had a laugh about it, and started the song over again. Really good stuff. But again, this feels like a tribute to that album, a send-off to that album, and it's deservedly so. It opens up with Ace of Spades. You know what? Hang on for a minute. I have to find Cranky Vision. Cranky Vision has disappeared on me. I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, I found Cranky Vision. Can't do nothing without Cranky Vision. All right. Thanks for waiting. Anyway, starts out with Ace of Spades, Stay Clean, Metropolis, The Hammer, Iron Horse, No Class, Overkill, We're the Road Crew, Capricorn, Bomber, and Motorhead. Then they have the Newcastle City Hall. It was done March 81. This is right off the soundboard tapes. Ace of Spades, Stay Clean, Over the Top, Metropolis, Shoot You in the Back, The Hammer, Jailbait, Leaving Here, Iron Horse, Fire, Capricorn, Too Late, No Class, We Are the Road Crew, Bite the Bullet, The Chase is Better Than the Catch, Overkill, Bomber, and Motorhead. And it's complete, no edits. But it's also unmixed. But this is the perfect tribute album. This was not a cash grab. And anybody who's a fan of Motorhead, and especially a fan of this album, should have this in their collection. It's great. Another one that I don't feel is a cash grab was this. Let me see if I can get that in there. The Best of Old Time Radio. It's a nostalgia lane treasury of the best of old time radio. Now, might seem a little strange, but why do I say that this isn't a cash grab? One, these were live radio recordings by Abbott and Costello, Fred Allen, Burns and Allen, Jack Benny, Fibber McGee, Molly, Groucho Marx. Lights Out, Everybody was a radio program that was in a studio, but in a live studio environment. The Green Hornet, Suspense, The Shadow, The Lone Ranger, and Sherlock Holmes. These things would come on live on your radio. And if we didn't have compilations like these, box sets, if you will, these would be lost to time. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. What makes these things so important is the history. It shows us where we were in our country at that time. The stories, where we were as a nation, what we were thinking, what we were feeling, what we were going through. Where our heads were at, basically, in the 30s and 40s, which is important because if you don't learn from history, you're going to repeat history. So this to me didn't feel like a cash grab. This was a value set. I like this. In fact, I think I'm going to listen to it a little bit later, so I'm going to set it aside because it's a good one. Another one that I didn't feel was a cash grab was this. This was the Swing Years. And this was by, believe it or not, Reader's Digest. That's right. Sometime before you were born, there was a company called Reader's Digest that used to make condensed versions of books and things. And they used to do records as well. They used to do whole record sets. And these compilations were important because, well, a lot of these were live recordings that, or certain studio recordings that would have been lost to time. They would have been lost forever if it wasn't for things like this. And let's see, there's original performances on here. Original live recording by top 24 bands. Glenn Miller, Tommy Dorsey, Guy Lombardo, Benny Goodman, Wayne King, Artie Shaw, Duke Ellington, Sammy Kaye, Freddie Martin, Hal Kemp. Tons of them. There's just too many to mention. Various songs from performances of these guys. Can't tell you enough how much I feel like that's important. This was swing. And swing, in my opinion, was basically the 40s version of metal. Now, hear me out on that. Swing was the 40s version of metal. Okay? Now, I want you to think about metal. There's people who liked rock, but they didn't like metal. They thought metal was too heavy. Okay? They didn't like it, but rock was okay. Then there's people before them that thought rock was evil and swing was good. And then there's people before them that thought swing was bad, swing was bad, and orchestration was good. You see where I'm going with that? It was like there's always the generation before doesn't like the music of the generation that comes later. And we were at a point right in the 40s where we had the swing. And, you know, a lot of the older people, they didn't like that. They thought it was dirty. They thought it was disgusting. You know, and then the people that had the swing, they didn't like the 50s because, you know, I mean, they didn't like Elvis and his gyrations. And then the 50s didn't like the 60s because of the weird counterculture movement. And the 60s didn't like the 70s. You see where I'm going with all this. But anyway, this is important. And again, it shows where our heads are at because they were broadcasts. One other one I wanted to show you would have been lost to time. I don't think it's a cash grab at all. Glenn Miller. This was done by a company called Past Perfect. It's a 10 CD box set. This has some of his greatest material on here. And again, a lot of it recorded on the road. And a lot of it probably would have been lost if it wasn't for sets like that. And it's a tribute to Glenn Miller. If it wasn't for Glenn Miller, we wouldn't have a lot of these famous songs that we have today. I want you to consider that. Another one that I think is kind of a cash grab. This is one I think is a cash grab. It wasn't a cash grab when I bought it. But in recent years, it's kind of become one. Let me explain. It was a Led Zeppelin 4 CD box set. Okay? It's got their favorite, it's basically greatest hits. And it was produced by Jimmy Page. It's got Whole Lot of Love, Heartbreaker, Communication Breakdown, Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You, What Is and What Should Never Be, Thank You, I Can't Quit You, Baby, Dazed and Confused, Your Time Is Gonna Come. Excuse me. I need to eat. Ramble On, Traveling Riverside Blues, Friends, Celebration Day, Hey Hey, What Can I Do? And it's previously unavailable on albums. That one was anyway. Traveling Riverside Blues was the same way. White Summer, Black Mountainside, previously unreleased. So there's a few unreleased things in here. Black Dog, Over the Hills, Far Away, Immigrant Song, Battle of Evermore, Bonnier Stomp, Tangerine, Going to California, Since I've Been Loving You, Dire Maker, Gallows Pole, Custard Pie, Misty Mountain Hop, Rock and Roll, The Rain Song, Stairway to Heaven, Cashmere, Trampled Underfoot, For Your Life, No Quarter, Dancing Days, When the Levee Breaks, Achilles' Last Stand, In the Evening, Candy Store Rock, The Ocean, Ozone Baby, Nobody's Fault But Mine, Fool in the Rain, In the Light, Wanton Song, Moby Dick, Bonzo's Montrose, previously unreleased in this form. So it's a different version. I'm Gonna Crawl, and All My Love. And this used to be when you got this. Now, Sensible Wife picked this up for me. She bought this for me as a Christmas present years and years ago. And she probably dropped quite a few dimes on it back then, too. But then, Jimmy Page did what Jimmy Page always does. Drug his ass back into the studio, sat behind the mixing board, and pulled out of his ass a bunch more Led Zeppelin remixes and remasters that, instead of making this one special, made this one feel like, because of all the bells and whistles and the boxes, whereas the rest of them just came in regular CDs. You know, yeah, I'll see if I can show you. See, this one has the booklet. And a poster. And let me see if I can get all 4 CDs without them falling out on the floor. And the 4 CDs, all the bells and whistles of a special edition set. But then he comes out and he takes the same songs. He makes other greatest hits albums. He puts them on regular standard CDs. And he sells them at a regular standard set. There's like a Zeppelin Greatest Hits Volume 1 and a Greatest Hits Volume 2 and Mothership and all sorts of them now. So that's why it makes it feel like if I grab this, it feels like if I grabbed it today, it would feel like a cash grab. But grabbing it back then when they didn't have it, it felt like something special. So I guess timeline's important on that. There's another one. Did I grab that one? Oh, what the hell I did with that? But anyway, I've also got a Motorhead box set around here someplace. I did show you the No Sleep Till Hammersmith, but there was a Motorhead box set that I can't seem to locate right now. Let me get up for 1 second, and I'll be right back again. I'm not prepared today. It's just going to take a second. There it is. Get over here, you monkey. I knew I forgot this thing someplace. Here it is. Here's the other box that I was looking for. Motorhead, Protect the Innocent. I don't feel like this one was a cash grab because I think the band was on hiatus at this time. And this was like a greatest hits compilation, or a hits of all the good songs that they did up through I think Orgasmatron maybe. And they did, before Lemmy passed away, a bunch of albums later, but thought I would just give this one an honorable mention. And if you ever see this one, you should pick it up. Definitely not a cash grab. Definitely a true greatest hits. Has everything that you'd ever want to hear from Motorhead on here. If this was all you had by Motorhead, well, you'd still be lacking a little bit, but you'd have most of the cool stuff. And it's worth every penny. Anyway, I'm sure there's a few more I could probably get up and grab, but I'm sure you're tired of seeing me get up and sit down and get up and sit down. So, let me know what you thought. Let me know what your thoughts are. You got any compilations or box sets that you felt like were just unnecessary? Because really, that dude Thomas, his comment kind of made me rethink what I felt was important in a box set or a compilation, and why they were necessary. Like, is it necessary? Is it worth the money? So let me know. Do you have any that are necessary or worth the money? Was there any that I mentioned that you disagree and felt maybe it was more necessary than not, or maybe they you agree that they're not necessary, or maybe you just hate one of the genres and you don't feel like they were necessary at all. But anyway, leave a comment down below. Hit like. Let me know that you love the old man. And we will see you next time. Until next time, my brothers, my children, always stay cranky.